What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, y'all? So we are back. We are back. We are back. Now I said I was gonna do this video probably a couple of weeks ago when it first came out. I actually eventually saw the movie. This is Honk for Jesus. I hope that the glare or whatever is not bothering anybody. But, you know, this is natural lighting. This is something I have to get used to, too, as well. But I do got a ring light. I told y'all that. And I recorded a different video, just a little update video, whatever. I got a ring light. I got some furniture coming, you know. About to start setting some stuff up in here. So, hopefully soon everything will be together in the studio. And we can have a real studio, okay? I gotta get a green screen as well. I'm gonna figure out how to do that, okay? I'm learning as I go. But anyway, Honk for Jesus. Save your soul. I figured enough people have seen this to actually get on here and talk a little bit about it. I've seen mostly people saying that they liked it. Damn, they sent me that shit late. I'm sorry, y'all. It's a message from my building. Okay, good. But anyway, so mostly I see some people say, the majority of the people say they liked it. And even in some of my comments when on the recommendation video that I said, you know, I just listening to y'all recommendations and everything, there was a few people that said they didn't like it. And I can understand that. But I do know, like, people loved it on Twitter. But the older people, they hated that shit. They hated it. Sorry. They hated it on Facebook. And I already knew that. You know, the Christian folks, the overly Christian folks, the older Christian folks, they was not going to like this movie. And I know some people was a little bit confused by it, but I'm so glad that when I looked at Regina Bell's, girl, that is not her name. Regina Hall. Okay? Regina Bell, that is the singer. When I looked at her interview on The Breakfast Club, baby, they didn't get me to watch The Breakfast Club. I'm telling you, the only time I watch The Breakfast Club is if it's somebody on there that I actually like and interested in, and I will listen to their interview. But she said it came from a short film. It's like 15 minutes long, and it's from Issa Rae Productions, okay? Her Hooray Productions or whatever YouTube channel. And I was like, I'm subscribed to their YouTube channel. Where I missed it. It came out a couple of years ago. So it's like, it's better if you watch the short film before you actually watch the actual movie, okay? So I watched the short film and I got what it was about, basically. Damn, it do look like a little bit dark, but I'm pretty sure it's just me. But y'all can see me, right? I'm saying it like y'all can. But anyway, we're gonna get it together. As long as y'all can hear me, I'm good. I'm good. We'll fix it later. But yeah, it comes from a short film called Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. And it's about this pastor, this reverend who is a mega pastor. And he got hit with a scandal. He got hit with a bit of a scandal that caused the church that he was in to shut down. So when you look at the mini movie that's like 15 minutes long, and then you look at this one, which I think is probably like an hour and 40 some minutes long, it's not that much that was different. It's just a little bit more detail. But other than that, it was pretty cool. It was okay. I didn't dislike it. It wasn't the best thing ever, but I did not dislike it. I understood what was going on. I got the subject matter. I got where they was trying to go with it. And it was some parts in there that cracked me up, and there was some parts that just made me say, what? Okay? So you have this pastor, played by Sterling K. Brown, and his wife, played by Regina Hall. They go by the name of Lee Curtis, Childs, and Trinity Childs, okay? And it was a certain part in there that kind of made me think of that episode of Iyanla Fix My Life. When Iyanla said, you sold your soul for a parking space and a hat. a church hat in a parking space or some shit like that at the church. That episode when we was talking about the first lady at the church with the husband, I don't know if the husband was cheating on her with multiple people or was he gay or something like that. You sold your soul for a parking space in a church hat. Something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you any y'all look Fix My Life fans or whatever, because the lady, whatever happened in that situation, the first lady wound up staying because she wanted that title. And that's literally what was going on in this situation on this movie. So basically what I gather from it, you got Lee Childs who, got involved in a scandal where he wound up having to pay out some settlement to some victims and to the people in these scandals. And so as the movie is going on and we realize what was happening, and especially if you saw the short film, you already know what it's about. It was almost, I'm not going to name names or say that it's naming some people specifically, but we didn't see multiple incidents like this. And one of the most primary incidents that we didn't see like this on the national front that caused a big uproar was the scandal that happened at New Birth with Pastor Eddie Long, Bishop Eddie Long, okay? When those guys came out, you always get an anti-gay preacher, and then these guys come out and they say, well, he was having sexual relations with me. I was this age and I was that age, but, he was buying me this, he was flying me here, we was having sex here, we was doing this and doing that. That's basically what this movie is, okay? And not saying that he's Bishop Eddie Long, but the circumstances is basically the same. So you got Lee Curtis, this mega pastor, this mega church. He has millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. He helped get the city out of this financial trouble. He's donating a whole bunch of money to this organization, to overseas, to all this stuff. He got all of that. And then you have his wife, who literally is his shadow, who literally just plays his sidekick, who plays the background. That is her part. She's the first lady and very quiet for the most part. Let him do what he got to do, and, just his hype man. His hype woman, I should say. And instead of her having a real voice, her voice get a little bit stifled and muted so that he can do his thing. And I guess the church had been closed for like a year. And now they get a camera crew in, this lady who is known to do some documentary style work so that people can document and see what's been going on and see the change and see that they are still the same people that they are or were prior to this scandal, but they're better, And so how that is when you get the camera out there and you're trying to portray yourself as something that you're really not. All your flaws start to get put out there. The narcissism, the ego, all of that. And you can tell that this pastor either grew up and he had nothing. So as soon as he got money, he just started buying this, buying labels. He became a label whore. Throughout the whole thing, he was talking about his Ferragamo shoes. He was talking about his cars and his clothes and all of that. And y'all already know stuff like that does not mesh well with me. And it's not that I don't like people who have nice things. I don't like when pastors or whatever of these mega churches, first of all, I don't like mega churches at all. I don't like the fact that you have these mega churches with most of the congregation being people who are poverty stricken or lower middle class or even just above poverty, like I said. And they're basically paying to keep this building open, and you're paying the pastor to fund his lifestyle because that's how it be looking. Not saying that the pastor can't come in and have nice things or whatever, but when I feel comfortable going to a church, and I'm not a church going person. If you don't know my background, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, okay? That's not what we did. We were very modest with our stuff. Yeah, we had some witnesses that did have some money, but they didn't flaunt it, I wouldn't feel comfortable going to a church where the pastor and the first lady are coming in and they're driving these expensive cars all the time. every time we see them, they're in a different expensive ass car. I just feel like that's just a little bit too gaudy for me. You got all this jewelry on. You got, you know, like the one that just got robbed or whatever out there in New York or whatever, that whole scandal. I would never go to someone like him because something about that just doesn't seem right. But that's neither here nor there. But you would think after a scandal that befelled you, that caused you to close your church for a whole year and knock you off your peak and get some of the majority of your church members left your church because of that. You would think, especially seeing that you recording this or whatever, to get people to come back, that you would have a more of a humility to you. Pastor Lee Curtis didn't have that to him. It was all about him. It wasn't even about his wife, but she stuck around because she wanted that title. She wanted to get back on that stage. She wanted to get back to that prestige, okay? So she accepted a lot of stuff. One, being that she knows her husband is not sexually attracted to her. We saw a particular scene in the movie where she wanted to have sex with him. He could not get it up. He tried to masturbate to get it up, but it just wasn't working. When he tried to insert himself in her, it just would not go. He was flat. He was limp. And the only person that got pleasure out of that whole interaction was him, because he wanted her to give him head, oral sex. And she wound up doing it. But yet, she put aside her sexual needs just to fulfill his sexual needs. Now, when they was about to have sex, the way that he did that shit, he flipped her over while she was on her stomach and he was about to do her from behind. Okay? Because that's what he used to with whoever he's used to, with whoever he's with. Or y'all know, okay? Yeah, do me from behind, bitch. That's him, you know? And that was very telling, and that was just very sad. Because throughout the movie, you could just see that she is putting up appearances just to make him look good, just to put him on this pedestal to make him look good, but neglecting her own needs, neglecting her own feelings, neglecting her own state of being, just so that, you know, she can have a freaking church hat, be sitting up on the stage and be called the first lady. That's it. That's literally it. It's that submissive stuff, okay? And it's one thing to be submissive to your spouse, to your husband, but your husband got to make sure that you are still equal to him some way. You know what I'm saying? And there was no equalness about them. And then you get this other couple who was a pastor and a first lady who were coming in. They were new. They used to be members of his church. And now they become big pastors. And, you know, we see the difference between them two. They're on one accord. They're working together, you know. He's allowing her to talk. He's allowing her to, you know, be in the fellowship of the flock, you know, probably even preaching too on the same level with him as if, which is very different from Lee Curtis and Trinity, you know. It's all about Lee Curtis. With the other young pastor and his wife, it's about them both, you know. And I feel like in this day and age, that's more progressive. And I feel like if you are in a church, and if it does be a mega church or whatever, that'd be more attractive to the younger crowd, to the more progressive crowd, the more modern crowd of people coming in, looking for a church home, seeing that, oh, women have a voice too, you know, and it's just not about the male pastor, you know. But with this shit, I say that one scene when they was, everybody was talking about it, when they was up in the car singing Crime Mob, and the fact that neither one of them knew that song before they started filming this movie, I was just baffled. I was baffled as hell. I said, you mean to tell me after all these years you ain't know nothing if you buck? What? Baby, get them a ticket to the to the Millennium Tour, because you know they're going to be on the Millennium Tour too. I said, who don't know nothing if you buck? And y'all old enough to know. Y'all came from the era. Bitch, y'all older than me, bitch. Okay, girl, that was college, high school. Duck if you buck, right? Yeah, I'm a gat toting gangster. No, let me stop. And I bet you they don't know stiletto pumps in the club. I said, bitch. Let me tell you something. If you was not around back then, you missed a lot. You missed a lot, girl. We had a time back then, girl. I mean, y'all got y'all shit today. Baby, we sound like, put that on pause. When we talk about music, we literally sound like our parents when we was like, back in my day, we didn't have all this. Our music was so much better than this mess that's out now. Now it is our turn, my generation, that is literally saying the exact same thing about some of the shit that is out today. Back in my day, our ratchet shit was good, okay? Our R&B was good. I don't know what the fuck is going on today, okay? But hey, it is what it is, Wow, the way history repeats itself. We are literally getting old. Bitch, I am an adult. We are turning into our parents. Oh my God. I don't know if I like that. But so you got that. And shout out to Nicole Bahari, because she plays the wife to the new pastor, the new incoming pastors or whatever that's trying to make their foot known and put their foot down, get stable and get their church up and going. She has been, I feel as though she's one of the most underlooked black actresses out here, but she is so good at her craft. And I remember like the first time I've ever seen her when she was on Sleepy Hollow, the TV show. And then when that whole situation went down, when she had left the show, probably like a season and a half before the show got canceled, and I found out the mess that was going on, I said, oh, that's fucked up. And that's exactly why the show got canceled, because I wasn't looking at it for dude Ichabod. I was looking at it for her. I was looking at it for her and her sister on there, okay? And so I was really upset when that happened. But you got that going on. And so they were trying to get their church back to open it. And they wanted to open on Easter, but then they found out that the new pastors and his wife, they were going to open their church on Easter. And so, my battery about to run out. And so, they was trying to do, instead of just pushing it back a little bit, because technically speaking, they were not ready to open up on Easter either. I don't care what nobody say, they was not ready to open up on Easter. But instead of just pushing it back, he decided to push it forward. And I just said that was dumb. And so at the end, you got them out there trying to get people to come to the church and advertise or whatever that they bag and honk for Jesus or whatever. Not too many people was honking. And then he basically asked his wife, Trinity, to put the makeup on to do the miming and the praise dance stuff or whatever. And she hated it. She hated it, but she did it for him. And it took everything out of her to do that, And then one of his accusers came up to him and confronted him about what he did. And that was a powerful scene. It was more powerful than the actual short, because it was dramatic and you felt it. But at the same time, it had the, throughout it, people was talking whether or not they believed what happened. And it was like, well, if he did, oh, well, they was of age. Them people actually went on ahead and did it with him. Or he was disgusting for doing this and all that stuff. So basically, a lot of the stuff that we see now when we see scandals go on. Now, when that whole thing's, when you hear a church scandal happening, or a scandal when it comes to a sexual thing where somebody that I guess get found out to be DL, it's like either, okay, that's his business, or, oh, you're disgusting for doing that, or, something in between. When it comes to this church, I'm pretty sure the reason why a lot of the church folks or whatever did not like the movie is because it was putting y'all's secrets and stuff on front page, on full blast. And it's understandable. Y'all want to work in secrecy and put sweet stuff under the rug or whatever. And the fact of the matter is, the world already know that this stuff goes on. We already know that this stuff goes on, okay? We've seen it time and time again. Just because you have a pastor does not mean you are perfect and without fault and without flaws. And that is the issue that a lot of us who do not go to church or who has never attended church, but we see the stuff that we see have with the church. It is okay to have a pastor that put his flaws out there on Front Street and be like, I'm no different from you. I will mess up time to time. And I feel like that will bring more people in and gravitate them towards you because you're being honest and you're not being fake about it. You know what I'm saying? You're not putting up airs. You're not, trying to make it seem like you're this all-encompassing, perfect person that's getting all these words from God, and you're not going to mess up. But then when you mess up and you don't really take accountability for what it is that you do, after you up there teaching in the sermon, because even in the movie, you had the pastor teaching about how homosexuality is disgusting, it's not of God, you're going to hell, but yet you have a scandal coming out of you having sex with men. You have a part in there where he was hitting on one of the cameramans, when they was playing basketball, and he just got through settling the case with these other ones. And I'm sitting here like, wow, your wife is right there, and you're just going to do this right there? And shit like that happens. It happens all the time. And what it tells me is like, people use religion to get through their life and to dictate their life. And also we see how religion can be a good thing and how religion can be a bad thing. How people live up to the church. They want to live up to the church standard. They want to get that, approval from the church or whatever and what they think. And so therefore they will stifle themselves. They will suppress their real feelings because, if I be myself, they say, according to the church and according to this man-made Bible, I'm going to go to hell, okay? I'm not going to go to heaven. I'm not going to be saved. I'm not going to be this. I'm disgusting. I'm vile. I'm all of this stuff. But yet, it's always homosexuality that is the biggest sin. But in the Bible, it says no sin is greater than the other. But yet, homosexuality is the main one that you have no redemption for, or you have no past to give to, that it's not an exception, that it's always looked down as so fucking disgusting. But yet, the church would protect the fucking predator. The church will fucking protect a predator. I was looking at the Mike Tyson thing on Hulu, and I know Mike Tyson said don't watch it because they didn't get his permission to do it, but I've always been interested in that. Every time I looked at a documentary about Mike Tyson, and when that whole situation came up with Robin Givens, and the whole situation came up with his rape victim that he went to jail for 6 years for, or I think it was 6 years or almost 6 years, the black church, they literally was out there. The black church and a lot of black people did not believe these women. They called Robin Givens a gold digger, even though you saw in the interview that he admitted to hitting her ass. You saw this lady get a rape kit, and it shows that she was raped. But they still didn't believe her. And it was literally black churches that was putting her down and uplifting him, a fucking predator, a sexual predator. And somebody said this, in the black community, a lot of them will shield a child predator, the molester uncle, the molesting father who's out there doing all the sexual abuse within the family, but then will condemn to hell a gay person. They will protect that predator and their family, but they will condemn to hell and dismiss and disown a gay person. A gay person who is out here doing absolutely nothing. They're not harming anybody. They're succeeding in life. They have no criminal record. They have not hurt anyone. They have not done anything negative. They're out here getting love. They're in successful and peaceful relationship. But you'll disown them with all of that. But you will protect the predator in your family and not put them in jail or keep them around so that they can continue this cycle of sexual abuse within the household. Same thing within the church. I've seen it. And that's why I just don't, And so people be so shocked when all this stuff comes out, and then they want to go, well, you're not supposed to look at the pastor as this. Yeah, people do look like, because people put pastors on these pedestals. because they make themselves put on as if they're supposed to be put on pedestals. A lot of people look at pastors in a higher light than other people. You are supposed to be teaching us, so therefore you should be abiding by the same things that you are teaching us. You shouldn't be doing what we're doing. You should be better than us, even though they are imperfect human just like us. But, you know, it's just a lot. And that whole shit with the Eddie Long, you know, at the end of the movie, when they was going to open up a week before, because they went on ahead and said that they wanted to open up on Easter and the other church wanted to open up on Easter, the other church had moved their date up too. But Trinity and Lee Curtis did not know that. So people did not show up to their church opening. They showed up to the new church opening, okay? And it was just a mess. You had somebody up in the parking lot doing donuts. They thought they was coming there for them, and they was just in there using the parking lot to do donuts, okay? And I was just like, wow, you know, it just goes to show that I feel like that part was unrealistic because we saw what happened, and we can use the new birth situation. When that whole scandal came out with Eddie Long or whatever, people still came to new birth. You had a few people that, you know, left the congregation, but it did not shut down. People did not leave completely. And I believe that he probably was taken out. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. And probably was replaced. But eventually we know that he got sick and he passed away. And now Jamal Bryant, I believe, is the head of New Birth. I don't know if that's still the case, but I know the last time I heard about it, he was. The church was still up and going with a whole bunch of members still. You know, just because they have a scandal like that, especially when it's something like that, oh, these church members, they'll be like, that's disgusting, but they'll still show up. They'll still show up. It ain't gonna close the church down. You know, that's just how they are. That's just how they are. I just don't, you know, religion is the start of a lot of stuff. And like I said, sometimes people use religion for a good thing, and sometimes religion can be twisted to use it to justify bad actions or whatever. Honk for Jesus was cute. I got the message behind it. I did not like the way that it ended so abruptly, and I feel like that was one of the main critiques that a lot of people had, was the way that it ended so abruptly. I feel as though, even though the movie was good, I feel as though this would have been better if it was an actual like TV show, a weekly TV show, or something that could have been put on streaming, and we could be looking forward to the next episode, and we can get multiple seasons, because that in itself, to see how that developed, you know, how they started off and they got to where they got to with the mega church and the money, you know, they got the fame, they got the fortune. And then we see him getting into these situations, and then it all coming to a head, and then seeing if he can get himself out of it. That would have been a great show. That would have been a great show. But it was cool. It was cool. I will say I only watched it once. Do I need to watch it again? No. But if it was to come on TV, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I like Regina Hall, and I watched Sterling K. Brown. It wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't a bad movie. And yeah. The church man, and I'm not saying that all churches are bad, because not all churches are bad and not all pastors are bad, but you know, you got certain ones that are, okay? And they give, unfortunately, a lot of churches bad names because of it. They get put up in the national forefront. But you guys tell me how y'all felt about the movie if you saw it, the correlation or whatever that I said, and just your overall thought about it, you know, the church and anything that was said. I'll see y'all later. Peace.